John says that God in human flesh came and dwelled among us. In other words, Jesus came and tabernacled among us. The word dwelled is actually tabernacled. So Jesus came and tabernacled among us, which implies that Jesus is the new tabernacle, that Jesus is the new temple. And the people saw his glory not in the form of clouds, but when he lived his life full of grace and truth. If we read the book of Acts, where the community of believers were gathered, the community of believers became a place of prayer, breaking of bread, sharing of resources, acceptance of one another. It has become a place of signs and wonders. Acts chapter 4 verse 33 says that great grace was upon them all. Great grace was upon all these people, these believers. And there was not a needy person among them. It was a community of grace. They loved one another. They cared for one another. They had great concern for one another. It was a community of life and light. One commentator says, when Jesus came to this earth, the wonder of God was visible in him. And the wonder was love. People saw that God's glory and God's love were one and the same thing. The glory of God is not that of a despotic tyrant, but the splendor of love before which we get lost in wonder, love, and praise. In the 3rd century CE, around 251, there was a terrible epidemic that ravaged Roman world. People did not know what caused the illness, but they knew that it was spread by contact. It was a terrible epidemic. So many people died. It is said that even in one day, 5,000 people died at Rome alone. Only at Rome, only in Rome, 5,000 people died in a day when the epidemic was at its peak. And I just believe that in the rural areas, the death rate may be even higher than that. So many people died. They didn't know how many people actually died from that epidemic, but so many people died. So many people were suffering, and since it was spread through contact, it is said that from the very beginning, so many people, especially non-Christians, fled their house, fled the cities, leaving behind their suffering family members. They didn't want to take care of them. They want to save themselves from that disease. So they fled their cities, they fled their house, leaving so many people suffering with no one to look after them. And so many people died. It is said that the dead bodies pile up in the cities because there was nobody to bury those dead bodies. Half dead people were crawling on the streets looking for water because there was nobody to bring water for them and they were thirsty. It was a terrible condition. And in this situation, Dionysius, church father, reports that Christians, filled with unbounded love and sacrifice, stayed back in the cities. They do not flee like other non-Christians. They stayed back, they took care of the sick people. They buried the dead and took care of these sick people. Even the doctors, non-Christian doctors, they don't know how to treat, and they were afraid to treat also. And so they also fled. There was nobody. Only Christians remained in the cities, took care of these sick people. Many of them died. Many of these Christians contracted the disease and they died. But they were not afraid of death. They knew that if they take care of these people, they will get the disease and they will die. But they were not afraid. They took care of it. They showed extraordinary courage and faith to the world during this epidemic. Jesus said, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven." How do we shine? We shine by being a community of grace and truth, by being people of justice and mercy. We shine by living a life of radical love. Let us live in such a way that the world will be able to locate God's presence in our midst.